Hi, I'm teacher Etta. Today we are going to learn all the 12 English tenses the easiest method. In this video, I will break down the 12 English tenses across present, past, and future categories to make it easy for you to understand. First we will start with the present tenses. Present simple, present continuous, present perfect, present perfect continuous. Then we will learn about the past tenses. Past simple, past continuous, past perfect, past perfect continuous. And finally we will discuss the future tenses. Future simple, future continuous, future perfect, future perfect continuous. So buckle up and watch this video until the end, and you will understand it. Share this with your friends that need help. English have 4 present tenses, so we start with them. First, the present simple. Second, the present continuous. Third, the present perfect. Fourth, the present perfect continuous. So let's dig into the present simple now. We start with the present simple tense, and it's the easiest tense. The present simple. We use this tense when we are talking about facts, habits and schedules. That is my phone, fact. He studies every day, habit. On weekends we play soccer, schedule, and a few more examples. I wake up at 6 a.m. every day. They play football on Sundays. Important. For he, she, it, the verb usually takes an S, for example, she teaches, he reads. For I, you, we, they, the verb stays in its base form, for example, I wake up, they play. The present simple is by far the most common verb tense in English, so you'll get plenty of practice with this over time. Next let's look at the present continuous. We use the present continuous tenses to describe actions that is happening right now. For example, I am studying, you are watching this video. I am reading a book right now. She is cooking dinner in the kitchen. They are playing football at the park. We are studying for our exams this week. He is watching TV at the moment. Key points to notice. It describes actions happening right now or around the current time. It can also describe temporary situations, for example, I am living in Bangkok for a year. With this tense, the action is happening as we speak. Now, the present perfect. The present perfect describes how a past action defines the subject now, often used for experiences, for example, I have studied English for 3 years. I have visited Bangkok 3 times. She has finished her homework already. They have played football in that stadium before. He has read that book twice. The teacher has explained the lesson clearly. Key points to notice. The structure is subject plus have, has plus past participle. Use has for he, she, it and have for I, you, we, they. It describes experiences, completed actions with relevance to the present, or actions that happened at an unspecified time. The last of the present tenses is the present perfect continuous. We use this for actions that started in the past and continue non-stop into the present. For example, I have been studying Spanish for 8 years. I have been reading this book all afternoon, and I'm still reading it. She has been cooking since 5 pages m, and she is still busy cooking right now. They have been playing football for 2 hours, and they are still playing at this moment. We have been studying English for 3 years, and we are still busy studying, we have not stopped studying yet. He has been watching TV all evening, and he is still watching as we speak. Key points to notice. The structure is subject plus have, has plus been plus verb ing. It emphasizes duration or continuity of an action that started in the past and continues up to now, or has just stopped but still affects the present. Now let's look at the past tenses, things that happened yesterday or any time in the past. We will look at the following: past tenses, past simple, past continuous, past perfect, past perfect continuous. Past simple. I studied. This tense is very straightforward and very common. We use it when talking about an action that started in the past and finished in the past. Example: she worked last night. In other words, she started work last night, and she finished work last night. He ate eggs for breakfast. He ate eggs then. He's not eating them now. I lived in Chicago when I was a child. I lived there then, and I don't live there now. Key points to notice. The structure is subject plus past form of the verb. Regular verbs add ed, for example, played, finished, visited. Next, let's look at the past continuous. I was studying. We use the past continuous to describe an action that continued over a period of time in the past. I was studying, but more specifically, we almost always use this tense to give context or background for another action. I was studying when the phone rang. We were living in Canada when we got engaged. He was running when he caught the ball. Key points to notice. The structure is subject plus was, were plus verb ing. Important. Use was for I, he, she, it, and were for you, we, they. It describes actions that were in progress at a specific time in the past, often interrupted by another action, usually expressed in past simple. Next, the past perfect. I had studied. This tense is also used to provide context for another action in the past, but the past perfect always comes beforehand. Sarah had already left by the time he got home. In other words, Sarah left before he got home. It could have been a minute before, an hour before, or a year before. All we know is she had already left. I had already booked the tickets when the concert sold out. In other words, I booked the tickets before the concert sold out. We had eaten a big lunch, so we weren't hungry when we got to the hotel. In other words, we ate a big lunch before we got to the hotel, so we weren't hungry when we got to the hotel. Right finger. Key points to notice. The structure is subject plus had plus past participle. It describes an action that was completed before another past action or time. Lastly, the past perfect continuous. I had been studying. And again, we almost always use this tense to give context, but the past perfect continuous describes an action that continued over time and then stopped at the moment of another action. I had been watching TV when the power went out. I was watching, then the power went out and no more watching. He had been eating pizza every day. When he started the diet, eating pizza, then started the diet and he stopped eating pizza. We had been talking about going to France for years, and finally decided to go. Talking about going, decided to go. Now we have covered all the past tenses of the English language. Now let's look and talk about the future. The future tenses is made up as follows: future simple, future continuous, future perfect continuous. So let's dive right into the future. First, let's look at the future simple. I will study. We use the future simple to talk about actions that we believe will happen in the future. I will call you tomorrow. We'll bring cupcakes to the party. And yes, most of the time English speakers shorten the word will to as in I'll study, you'll study, he'll study, etc. I'm going to call you tomorrow. We're going to bring cupcakes to the park. Key points to notice. The structure is subject plus will plus base verb. It expresses future actions, predictions, promises, or decisions made at the moment of speaking. Next, the future continuous. We use the future continuous for actions that will continue over a period of time in the future. For example, we will be eating dinner from 6 o'clock to 7 p.m. I will be reading a book at 8 pages tonight. She will be cooking dinner when you arrive. They will be playing football tomorrow afternoon. We will be studying during the holiday break. My brother will be fixing his motorcycle all weekend. Key points to notice. The structure is subject plus will plus be plus verb ing. It describes actions that will be in progress at a specific time in the future. Often used to set the scene or show overlapping actions in the future. Then, the future perfect. I will have studied. We use the future perfect to talk about actions that will be finished by a certain time in the future. Example. She will have moved to a new apartment before the end of the year. In other words, at the end of the year she'll move to a new apartment sometime before. That could be a day before, a week before, a month before, any time. Let's look at another example. He will have finished his homework by the time dinner is ready. So dinner is ready and he finished his homework sometime before that. Key points to notice. The structure is subject plus will plus have plus past participle. It describes an action that will be completed before a specific time or event in the future. Often paired with time expressions like by tomorrow, by next week, before the meeting. Then lastly, the future perfect continuous. The future perfect continuous emphasizes the duration of a continuous action that will be completed at a specific future time. For example, he will have been driving for 6 hours when he arrives. I will have been reading for 2 hours by the time you arrive. She will have been cooking all afternoon before the guests come. They will have been playing football for 3 hours by sunset. We will have been studying English for 5 years by next summer. My brother will have been fixing his motorcycle all day by the evening. Key points to notice. The structure is subject plus will plus have plus been plus verb ing. It emphasizes the duration of an action that will continue up to a specific point in the future. Often paired with time expressions like by the time, by tomorrow, for 2 hours. Conclusion. That's it. We've covered all 12 tenses. Watch this video again if you are not sure about anything. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching. Follow and subscribe to see more videos. Teacher Etta.